getting to this game tonight, and Rick starts off in goal, and unfortunately we couldn't get him the clean sheet. And it's not a game where, unfortunately we lost a lot of the battles, lost a lot of the duels. And this is something that we've been pretty good at all year long. And that's unfortunately got away from us tonight, especially on a tight field like this. So didn't go our way. And we made a little bit of a push at the end, and unfortunately we fall short on a game where probably a tie would have been suitable. Wasn't our best performance by far, but this is one we just have to wipe away and move on from here. So it's a rival, it's a neighbor, and that leaves a sour taste in the mouth, and we have to move on from here.
Thanks, Bradley. We can start with questions in the room.
Bradley, you mentioned the speed bumps, and I think one of the bigger surprises was Andre Blake. Injury. Can you walk us through the timeline of how that happened and sort of the leading to the decision for Rick?
Yeah, so, Thursday, Friday, we try to, Dre pulled up in training, and we try to get him ready. And unfortunately, it was just a little bit too soon. I think it's very minimal. It's day to day. We try to make a push to get him ready. Unfortunately, he didn't feel comfortable. And if no one has the right, I would say, mindset or frame of mind, we will support Dre and make sure he comes back better and stronger. And hopefully he starts back as soon as next week. So, yeah.
And then in terms of the decision to sit Frankie on the night, was that minutes driven, coach's decision? Did he show something, or I should say, did Kai coming back show you something different?
Yeah, no, today was going to be a bit of a second ball affair, right? Long balls both ways, and a little bit of the battle and the last line. So we just thought of getting Nate in there at right back, and the way we wanted to build up and the way we wanted to progress the play. Keep Nate a little more shallow, and then intentionally bring on Frankie during the game. Unfortunately, we got Chase in the game before we could get Frankie on in time. So, it's just the way it is. And it's good competition between the positions now. And we've shown that we can be equally good starting Nate and Frankie.
And as you think about the way the week progressed with the news of Daniel moving on, I'd be remiss to not ask about Olivier not being here tonight. Was that sort of a coach's decision as well?
No, Olivier is still not ready.
Okay.
Yeah, Olivier is still not ready. He's still struggling with his hamstring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can you talk about the decision to bring Mikal on for Danley?
Well, we're losing the game. We need to make a push, and we have to be a little bit creative and get an extra striker on board. And we start to make a push, and last couple of minutes you throw caution to the wind, and I think just the natural progression. We pushed Ty Bariba in the 10 to get two strikers on there. We brought in Ale Bedoya. And I thought at times, we created a little bit, crosses from wide areas, and Donovan gets ahead off, and that's a good save from Matt. So we pushed the game. Unfortunately, it wasn't as quite controlled or how it's been over the last couple of weeks, and that's something that we're just gonna have to look at. And I would say it's been what now? 7-8 weeks plus 5 weeks, 13 weeks or what have you of this journey. And I would say today we let ourselves down a little bit.
You look at the absence of Daniel Gosling being traded to Columbus. You go with Andy Vasiliev as the second 10 tonight. I guess just his performance, your thoughts on that tonight. And you mentioned playing Ty Bariba as that second 10 later on in the game. Is that something we could see more of, you switching your three strikers into that number 10 role?
No, there was, Ty was the lone 10 at that point. We had two strikers, 1-10. Like I said, we're making a push. We have to be creative. We have to try and get weapons on the field, and we have to try and make a push for the game. So nothing more to that. And I thought Indy, was industrious. He put in a lot of effort, a lot of energy. We just needed a little bit more service from wider areas, and a little bit more danger in the final third. But you run out of space pretty quickly on this field. So it wasn't a night to be.
And then offensively, you guys scored 10 goals your first 3 games, 3 in your last 5. Any concern with the offense? You guys are still creating chances, but it seemed like tonight New York City was getting out, blocking a lot of your shots tonight.
Yeah, it's always different on this field. I wouldn't put, the other two past performances, I think there were enough there to get goals and to get guys on the score sheet. I think tonight was a little different, and the field does play a role. You're looking one way and the stands that way, so your vision is totally obscured. And I thought we came close a few times, but not as clinical as we have been in the last couple of weeks. I mean, even last week I thought we were good, and the week before in Inter Miami I thought we were excellent. So yeah, we'll keep on grinding, keep on doing our thing. We're in a good way. We've used a lot of players off the bench. We've used a lot of different starting guys. So yeah, we'll continue to push that and create flexibility within our roster, and making sure that everyone's ready to get the start. Thank you.
Yeah. Statistically in night passing, it seemed this was one of your lower performances, but it also seemed like you guys were having difficulty connecting in the build-up. What were they doing in the midfield particularly? Was there anything you were doing, or was it the field?
I was going to say, you play this field, it's like a rondo, right? Things come at you quickly, the spaces run out of, so I think we could have stretched them a little bit more. I think we could have run the line a little bit more, put them under pressure, make them face their own goal. And these were some of the things we try to correct, we try to plan for during the week. And we spoke again at halftime. So, unfortunately we didn't get quite the performance in that sort of phase of the game that we wanted to. So that, we let ourselves down a little bit tonight, and we'll look at that at the drawing board and move on from here.
And then I think we just have a couple on Zoom.
All right, we can go back to George.
Hey, Bradley, on the goal, do you want to see Andrew maybe stay on his line there? What kind of goes, how would you evaluate those kinds of breakdowns?
I want him to continue to gain experience. I want him to continue. And if you learn by making a mistake, you won't make that mistake a second time. So, we support Andrew in everything he does. He's been amazing on the training ground and playing for Union too. So, that's not on Rick. That's on me. And we support Andrew through everything. And he continues to train really well and push Andre. So, I think we have three very good goalkeepers, and we don't look at that too harshly.
And when you're looking for a spark late, trying to chase a goal, what is it that makes this game not the right fit for Cavan in the late on?
Yeah, I think Kyle spoke about it earlier, just in terms of the spaces. It's tight, it's choppy, it's, there's not a lot of space for football. So it's more over the battle, the duels, the second balls, the balls in behind. And so I think that, makes a case for the other players who did come on.
All right, and final questions will go to Karith.
Thanks, Coach, for taking my question. Coach, I just want to ask you about your thoughts on the pairing between Jacob Glesnes and Makanya, how those two are beginning to gel. It seemed at times it was kind of a yin and yang, especially with the physicality of Makanya. Just talk about those two in the middle there, and how they're holding things down.
Yeah, Jacob struggled all night in terms of last night. He had a sort of a stomach bug, so it was touch and go if he could play. That was a real concern going into it, and we made the decision at kickoff to put him in. So listen, Jacob's a leader, and he pushes everybody in that locker room, and he sacrificed himself tonight for the team, and so we thank him for that. And the relationship, I think, between all three center backs that have got game time have been excellent, right? So I mean, Makanya is still learning a lot of the trade, right, in terms of what away fields look like, what away stadiums, fans, different quality players, different looks at different strikers. So yeah, he's still, lapping it all up, and things have come quick at him, and we've demanded and asked a lot of him. So again, right now, all that Oluwetu can do is learn. And we're here to help him learn and guide him through this process, and make sure that we get him ready on game day. And like we said, he's been excellent, and he's got the full support of his teammates and Jacob as well. So again, everything is trending exactly where it should be with our center backs, and we'll continue to drive the competition. And obviously, we wish Jan best wishes and best health soon.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.